Hey, welcome to episode 172 of Awkwardly Awesome Podcast. Do you just take a minute, to feel grateful for what you do? I'm going to take a second now. Man, I'm a guy with a speech impediment, yet I'm 172 episodes into a podcast. That's it's really fun to think about. And I also get to interview amazing people. This week I have a return guest, Ted Liggins, and we're going to talk about this amazing different angle on his life and his experience and how he serves other people. I'll tell you more about that, but first, this. See you in a sec.
Today's guest, Terry Liggins.
Hey, welcome back. Let me tell you a little bit more about this amazing man. Terry just celebrated his business's 4-year anniversary. One of his top priorities is empowering people who find themselves in challenging situations. Through the vehicle of small business, Terry has been hard at work implementing his vision of providing equitable opportunities to urban inner city communities, including people of color and those who have been formerly incarcerated. I'm excited to talk with him about this as well as the profound opportunities and challenges that have come with running his own business. Now, my friends, I'm done reading. Please welcome for his return encore appearance to Awkwardly Awesome Podcast, Terry Liggins. Hey, Terry. Yeah, I'm mute, my friend. Have I muted you? I'll unmute you. No, I have.
Hey, welcome back. Hey, buddy.
Hey, great for you to be back again. And like it's fun. I always end up getting to see you because we always just run into each other around town. And so far, there's a town of 200,000 people, so that's kind of a miracle.
Well,
But
Jason,
it's really cool.
Well, Jason, you like to go for lots of walks. So
I really do.
So I just happened to run into you while I'm heading to my next meeting, and you're walking around town waving at people, and I'm waving back. That's what we like about South Dakota. We wave around here.
We wave around here. Yeah, so many good things about South Dakota. So my friend, going in to business for oneself is a phenomenal leap. If for people not in small businesses, it's easy to lose sight of, I think, because we see the storefronts and we read about the businesses on the web and we just kind of assume it happens. But I found it takes a lot of courage. What has your experience been like?
It definitely takes courage. It also takes faith. And, faith is believing in what hasn't manifested in the world yet. Every entrepreneur is a person of faith and vision, and maybe even vision first, right? Because anything that exists in the world today first did not exist and existed in someone's mind. And entrepreneur is the person who's willing to take that vision and take action on it, and that does require courage.
So you work a lot with high school students, and people who've been formerly incarcerated, and they might be at a low place in terms of having faith in themselves and faith in their vision. How do you help them cultivate that faith or renew that faith that they once had?
I do believe, Jason, that the first thing that is effective when it comes to helping people to believe more is having inspiration, is having someone else to believe in. And so first and foremost, there needs to be somebody that they can look up to, that they look like, that they can relate to. And the people that I work with, these teenagers and people of color and justice impacted adults, these are all experiences that I carry in my body and in my own experience. And so first and foremost, I get to relate to them. They get to relate to me, and they can see me in action as an entrepreneur. So that now gives them the belief, right? The faith, the belief that they can do it too, right? Because I used to be 15 years old and a sophomore in high school, and I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. But now I'm 38. I'm a business owner. I've been in business for 4 years myself. I came from a single parent home. So at my nonprofit, when we're working with those type of teenagers, they can relate to me. Then after you give them that hope through relatability, you then just start to ask the right questions, because it really comes to helping people to develop clarity, because the more clarity, the more confidence.
Hope through relatability, and the more clarity, the more confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're already dropping nuggets, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah.
So I didn't ask you this before. I know, because I didn't think of it until what you just said.
Yeah.
But when you were in high school, did you have a Terry Liggins as you are now in your life?
That is such a good question. And honestly, for me, Jason, I wasn't truly inspired to be the person I am today until much later in life. As a teenager, I was still very much lost and confused and making plenty of poor choices that came with consequences.
And you didn't really have any role models at that time.
No, I didn't. I didn't get my role models until later in life. I'm 38 now, and I got my very first role model when I was 31. Imagine that.
Oh, well. So back to the courage it takes to take the leap. How did you? First of all, what were you doing before you decided to go into business for yourself?
Well, I was working for other people. Now I work for myself and my own vision, and I get to facilitate a team at TOC Services and Her to Life Coach Foundation. I recently joined another executive team here in South Dakota, the South Dakota Black Chamber of Commerce, and these are all entrepreneurial in nature. But prior to my entrepreneurship, I was working for other people in nonprofits. I was working in the service industry. I've been a busser. I've been a server. I've been a bartender. I've worked at call centers. And, I've been in the workforce since I've been 14 years old. My first job being a paper route back in Omaha, and, just delivering papers. And then, like I said, call centers and things like that. So, most entrepreneurs, all entrepreneurs really, they start by working for other people first. And then they just get to the point where they realize that if they want to truly fulfill the vision and the purpose that they have in their life, employment isn't always the space where you can see that full vision come into fruition. So then you take the leap. And so I took the leap in 2020, and I've been full-time since January 15th, 2020.
So that all makes sense, but since 14 until January 2020, you were accustomed to getting a regular paycheck. You were accustomed to someone kind of you going in and someone else kind of telling you what you should do with your day, and suddenly you took a leap into no steady paycheck and no one telling you what you should do with your day. I mean, that's a big leap.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big leap.
Yeah, it really is. And it's not for everybody. I mean, if you did a survey, of people in the workforce, even those that are, self-employed, there's a lot of people that tell you, I'm not cut out for entrepreneurship. And it's true. It is not for everybody. I mean, the level of instability, insecurity, uncertainty, mystery, worry. Okay, should I keep going?
What did you say after mystery?
I think I said frustration.
Oh, yeah.
What worry? There's also worry that happens as well. And some people aren't wired to handle that amount of mystery, frustration, worry, uncertainty, but others are. And we want to reach them. We want them to know that entrepreneurship is an option for you. You don't have to go to work for other people. You can be a producer of opportunities. Instead of looking for opportunities, you can produce them yourself.
Instead of looking for opportunities, you can produce them yourself. Wow.
Absolutely. That's what entrepreneurship is about. It's about offering your own products and services. Instead of marketing other people's products and services or purchasing other people's products and services as a customer or consumer, an entrepreneur is offering their own products and services.
So how did the vision of becoming an entrepreneur even come into your life?
Well, for me, Jason, are you there still? There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, for me, Jason, you can tell already, the audience can tell already, I have a big personality. I'm very ambitious. I'm super driven. I'm high on discipline and devotion. As a former college track athlete with 6 All-Americans and multiple championships, I've got a big engine. And sometimes those types of people, they aren't cut out for the regular workforce. You start to ruffle people's feathers. You start to, color outside the lines and work outside the box. And the employer sometimes makes the decision for you and say, hey, you're just not enough, dog and chain for us. And it's not working out anymore. And basically that's what happened. I mean, I had a great experience at my last employer for about 31 months, but we came to a crossroads where I wanted to do more than what the scope of the role would allow me to do. And my employment was ended and I was let go. But when I was let go, I already had my LLC incorporated because it already had this burning desire to be an educator, a person who inspired people and coached. I already had it burning. So I incorporated my LLC, but in 2019, I incorporated. In 2020, when my employment ended, I landed into my LLC and I just went full time. So sometimes you just get pushed out and you don't necessarily make the choice. The universe does it for you.
So this is interesting. the universe made the choice for you, but you actually did some preparation beforehand. You incorporated your LLC, which isn't easy.
Right, right. Good catch there. You're right. I was ready for it. I was building up towards it, and it's just a best practice is if you can fully have enough saved up resources put aside so that you can take that leap and have enough to sustain you in the early launch phases of your business. Because as we're talking about entrepreneurship, and I know we're talking about my journey, but if we're also talking about the early part of it, the first 2 and 3 years, 4 and 5 years, man, is it shaky. And when you don't have a financial nest egg to lean upon, it can get kind of scary. Fortunately, I did have a decent amount of savings put away at that time. COVID relief funds was really helpful for me during that time as I was unemployed, but they were helping out those who were self-employed. And so I leaned upon unemployment benefits in my first year of full-time entrepreneurship. I leaned upon my savings to help me fund my operation. And I'm still doing that. I'm still self-funding my operation. I'm still not out of the woods. And it is certainly best if you can be prepared for the financial demands that the business is going to need. And so when you can make the choice for yourself, instead of the universe doing it, sometimes you have a little bit more of those resources in play.
We'll get back to that because that's fascinating. Speaker Alex Swanson, who is just phenomenal. He's spoken all over the country and put on conferences and stuff, and he says inspire the world, and I love that because you put yourself in a position to inspire the world in a different way than when you had a regular job. I mean, I know you, and I know you were inspiring then, of course, because it's you, but you're inspiring in a different way now. Can you say a little more about that?
Yeah, what I think the benefit to entrepreneurship is now you get to create the size of your sandbox. You know, like you said, I was already inspirational within the places that I worked before, but it was only within these types of limits. Now, as an entrepreneur, you know, when I prayed about it, because you know, you talk about some of the things I did to prepare. I prayed and I asked God that I believe in. I said, unleash me to pursue my full potential. I'm not really confident that a person can reach their full potential under someone else's vision. It is your own vision that you reach your full potential. And so now, you know, as a person who inspires, I get to go to different markets. I get to work with multiple organizations at once instead of just one organization. When I worked for somebody else, I can inspire that one workplace, that one team. But as an entrepreneur, now I get to partner with multiple organizations across the region and the country and even the globe with the power of the internet as well.
So you mentioned vision a lot, and then we were just talking about finances. I find sometimes fear about finances can get in the way of vision. What do you do to keep your vision clear and pure when financial ups and downs and unpredictabilities come up?
Oh man, Jason, that is the story of my life.
The story of your life and a lot of people's lives.
As I mentioned, you know, when you study entrepreneurship, many practitioners will tell you it takes a while before you break even. It takes a while before you get into your profits. It takes a while before the organization is really self-sustaining and finances are no longer an issue. Not in the first
Basically, what Terry is saying is that it can be a very long road to making millions of dollars.
100%. Great interpretation. And so it's the first 5 years, you've got to be able to do some things that still feeds your mind and feeds that vision, like you asked me. And I think it's so important of the association that you surround yourself with, the type of team members you build around you. Because now, as a business owner, you get to build that team. When you get hired, you become a part of a team. When you're a business owner, you get to build that team. And so I'm very strategic and particular about who I partner with. And I partner with people who can encourage me when I feel discouraged, who can help to add perspective to my own perception that gives me more clarity, and then what? Drives more confidence, right? And so it's really about not going on the journey alone. So that as the money situation, financial situation, works itself out, you have to surround yourself with people who are going to keep you encouraged and informed as well. And I do that very well as an includer in my executive leadership roles with my companies.
Well, what do you mean by when you say includer?
So includer is one of my top 5 strengths. I went through the Clifton Strengths Finders assessment, and I'm actually going through another program this month on it just to reignite my commitment to my strengths. And my number 1 strength is includer, meaning that I do a really good job of bringing people along the journey with me. And so it's really worked out well for me as an entrepreneur to have that as a strength.
So I can attest to what you're saying. I met you at you were speaking at a chamber event, and suddenly I know about the most amazing Toastmasters group ever, and suddenly I have this community of people who are just amazing people, and I don't happen to be a member of your group, but still I feel very much a part of this amazing community.
Yeah, and you know what? That fills my cup to overflow, Jason. And I have some other good news for you. I know you can attest to this. I've also invited a few people to join your podcast. And right before this call, I was recruiting again for your podcast. I've got a couple other people lined up.
Oh yeah, thank you. Molly, you from Molly. Why can't I think of her last name?
O'Connor.
And so you've already been working on helping me create the podcast, and you're doing more. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And speaking of being an includer, from time to time, actually pretty often, you send me clips of you being on the local news. I mean, you're on the local news more than anyone I know. My phone just dings and it's Terry on the local news for another amazing story, and another one and another one. So recently you sent me one about the South Dakota Black Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah.
What has it been like being on the ground floor of creating that vision and organization?
Yeah, I like to see myself as a launch specialist. It's one of the things that I help me to just be my best self. Is I really feel good about my ability to help people launch initiatives. And today I'm actually on the executive team of 4 different startup companies. 2 of them I own, And then the other one is Pathways to Inclusive and Equitable Workplaces here in South Dakota, Sioux Falls. And then the fourth one you just mentioned, I recently became the Program and Services Director at the South Dakota Black Chamber of Commerce. And it is just exciting. It's exciting to be in the early stages of raising brand awareness and visibility, including people to come and find out more about what we're up to inform, community members and stakeholders on how they can invest and be involved in helping us help other people, because that's the nature of nonprofits. Nonprofits don't exist to make a profit. Nonprofits exist to serve the community, but nonprofits have operational costs and operational expenses, whether that's staff, whether that's travel, food, events, and the community can invest in that nonprofit, helping them to help others. And so in the early stages of any organization, all of that is needed. And I just get so excited to do it for causes that I believe in. And the Black Chamber of Commerce is something I'm really fired up about because of how it's going to provide programming in the margins of our community. I think our community is best when all people have a sense of belonging and support. And in the margins, that's not always the case. People are under-resourced. People don't have the access to information. And so what we're going to do at the Chamber is bring in business programming, business literacy, financial literacy, even some opportunities to get access to capital for people in the community that have the drive, have the ambition, have the faith, have the vision, but are still limited in their resources. And we're going to be able to do that for Black professionals and all professionals across the state of South Dakota.
Wow. It gives me goosebumps because, this helps a group of business owners, but what do business owners do? They help and enhance and really reinforce the fabric of community. So it's like this huge win.
Yeah, that's a good connection. I see what you did there because I described how supporting nonprofits supports community. And this nonprofit, when it supports these community members of business owners, they then in turn support the larger community with their products and services. So you're right. It is a win-win-win-win. That's good.
Thanks for explaining what I did. I just said it and I didn't know exactly what I did. So thanks for interpreting Jason Freeman for Jason Freeman.
My pleasure.
Well, one word I haven't heard you mention yet today, but I know you'll have a great take on it, is the word purpose. How does the word purpose relate to the word vision in your mind?
That's such a good question. I love it. For me, just in my gut, in my reaction, I think your purpose is very congruent and it lives in your vision. Your purpose lives in your vision. And that's such a good thing to ask yourself, what is my purpose in life? That's the thing that causes most of us to feel this level of inadequacy and insecurity and insufficiency. It's because we're not living in our purpose. And when you at least ask yourself the question of what my purpose is, and then you get that download, from the universe, from God, that gives you a clear picture of your purpose and your gifts, you can now place that inside of a vision and you can incorporate it in America. That's the one thing I love about America is like anything can be a business. Anything can be a business. I didn't expect to get so fired up about entrepreneurship, but now I'm just as fired up about entrepreneurship as I am about trauma-informed care, justice-impacted people in reentry services and recovery, because I've always said this when I was doing my life skills coaching is that you can turn anything into a business. I've always challenged anybody, Jason. Name one thing that can't be turned into a business, because I haven't met someone who has done it yet, because you can be a window washer, you can cut hair, you can style people's clothes, you can cook people's food, you can drive cars. I mean, there's nothing you can't do. You can bake cakes, you can clean people's teeth. Like, there's nothing you can do that it cannot be turned into a business model in America. And so entrepreneurship is that equalizer that provides opportunity to all people. And I'm so fired up to give it to people that are under-resourced and looking for ways to evolve into their purpose in life. Entrepreneurship is a way to do that.
It's worth, as you were talking, I started thinking about this. So we're communicating with each other because of the internet, because of computers, because of a software called StreamYard. And at one time, these things we take for granted now were all people's visions, and they went through the uncertainty. I mean, Steve Jobs, now we know him as brilliant, highly successful, but he had, there were times when people looked at him like, are you kidding me, dude? You want money to do what? What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're spot on. I mean, here's the thing about entrepreneurship and anything in life. You are not going to escape insecurity. Can I be honest? Can I be honest and get vulnerable here? One thing we talked about in the description is, like, when people see entrepreneurship, they see the lifestyle and the flexibility and the freedom, right? To work with who you want to, where you want to, and how you want to. But it is absolutely a personal development journey as well. And and we all battle these insecurities, and we all battle doubt and people who don't believe in our vision and purpose. But you know what? I love to tell people, you do not need a whole army of people to believe in you, to keep on going. The only thing you need to keep on going is belief in yourself. If you believe in yourself, that's enough belief to keep on going. So Steve Jobs did that, right? Elon Musk did that, right? All these other great entrepreneurs, they did that. When no one else believed, they believed. And it was enough to keep going. And then eventually the crowd comes. But you got to hold on to that self-confidence and that self-belief that started you. And you got to hold on to that throughout the entire process.
And this is a catch, isn't it? Because sometimes the hardest person to convince of your vision, of your purpose, is you.
Yeah, that is true. That is true. You know what, Jason? You said something so powerful at the top of this program. You said a guy with a speech impediment is on episode 172. There was more people who thought you were insane and not going to succeed in the beginning because of your special ability. And look how far you have come because of your belief in yourself. And you are another testament, which is why I love supporting you. Gosh, you inspire me. You talk about inspiration. The reason I keep saying yes to you, you inspire me. I'm starting to get emotional because I really, really believe it, my friend. You are so special. You're such a gift. And you too are a testament to how far self-belief can go despite your special abilities.
I take that in. Thank you.
You're a good person, man. I like this place.
You what?
I like this place. I like the awkwardly awesome community. And so that's why I keep wanting to build it, man. I just think it's awesome. I think you should get as many people on here as possible.
Okay. Speaking of building, it is inspiring how when we start, once we start, things accumulate. Like I started during the pandemic too on episode 1. It started on episode 1, and now I'm on 172. Sometimes I think we don't appreciate that about people we see as famous and older, successful, that they've started and they've been patient enough to let things accumulate day by day by day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Persistence beats resistance every single time. There's always going to be resistance. There's always going to be, doubt, but persistence beats resistance every single time.
What did you learn about persistence as a college athlete?
You said, where did I learn from it?
No, what did you learn about persistence as a college athlete?
Well, persistence is showing up and doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's similar to discipline. It's similar to devotion, but it's essentially a practice. And the more that you practice this simple mundane thing, the better you become at it. So what I learned about persistence is the more persistent I am with something, the better I become at it. And so as a hurdler in college, I practiced every day. I was very persistent in my practice, Monday through Friday for 2.5 hours a day. I practiced.
Well, you said 2.5 hours?
Yeah, a day.
And you're basically jumping hurdles for 2.5 hours.
Yeah, and drills, doing hurdle drills. So breaking down the hurdle race into little micro pieces, the technical pieces. So training with my lead leg or my trail leg or my arms or my blocks in the block starts, the finish, leaning at the tape. You can break down the discipline in smaller things and be persistent in that as well. But yeah, over those 2.5 hours, I would jump hurdles, I would do drills, I would work on speed. And because of that persistence, I ended up winning 6 All-Americans and a national championship. So I know persistent works.
So when we talk about persistence in practice, a B word often comes in for people, and that word is boredom. I mean, so how 2.5 hours each day doing the same thing? How do you keep focused and not let your mind wander and say, "Oh, I want to go down to downtown Vermilion and walk around or whatever"?
Well, here's what I learned, and here's what still helps me today. In life, my competition is me. It's me versus me. And nothing feels more fulfilling to me than getting better than I was the day before. And that just keeps me going. I just want to keep evolving. I want to be better. I want to be great. And when you eliminate competing and comparing yourself to other people, and you just get so consumed with competing with yourself and bettering yourself, there's a high and a fulfillment that comes from that I fell in love with. And I just kept wanting to be better than myself. And so by being persistent, I kept being able to do that, and I still practice that today.
So if I'm understanding, and I'll add a little of my own, what we focus on expands, and so if we focus on the B word, boredom, we're going to get more boredom.
Yep.
But if we focus on a B word that's important to you, better, it leads to 6 All-Americans in a national championship.
You got that right. That's exactly right. Whatever you focus on magnifies. And I just think it's fun. I think it's fun growing. I think it's fun becoming. I think that's the purpose of existence. Even as a person who believes in God, I also believe in nature. I also believe in water. I believe in stars. And I just think when you look outside and you look at nature and you know that we are one with nature, everything out there is growing. That's how you know it's living, because it's growing. And so we ought to do that to ourselves as well. Put ourselves in environments where we're growing, where we're getting better. What is the water to your life? Just like
what is the water to your life? Oh my gosh, man. What is the water to your life?
That's right. Just like the waters to the plants. What is that thing that you do that nourishes you and causes you to grow? That's good.
That's really good. It's really good. So I was thinking about this before we got on, and I was expanding my mind, and I was scared to ask about it. But then I asked you before, and you sounded excited. So let me preface it with this. If someone were to hear me and hear Jason has a speech impediment and coordination differences as a result of a birth injury, they might go, "Oh, that's too bad." But if they ask me at this point in my life about my experience having a birth injury, I will be able to state all the benefits and how much it's enhanced my life. So Tay, what's the benefit of? I mean, we as a society we think about a lot of disadvantages of being a minority, but there's also advantages. What are some of the advantages to you of being black, of being part of a minority?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jason, and I'm glad you asked it, because it's very important that we together, even in our differences, find a common ground that we can relate to. So whether it's your speech impediment and your coordination challenges from the birth injury, or whether it's me being a black man, whether it's me coming out of a single parent home, whether it's me, having experience with the justice system, being incarcerated, these are all special and unique experiences that causes us to have special needs. But just because you have special needs or you have a special interest, that doesn't mean there needs to be a sympathy or a pity for what I've gone through. Because based on what I've gone through and based on who I am, there are certain things that I have developed because of that. One thing I can tell you for sure, my friend, is when you come out of poverty, you become a very resourceful person. I think you'll find that, and I know it perplexes people's mind, it seems as if people are happier and filled with more joy in situations where it doesn't make sense for them to have that because of their financial situation. Like, how are the kids in Africa smiling from ear to ear while they barely have the basic needs to survive, with clean running water and neighborhoods that are industrialized and things, but they're full of joy? The question really is, where is the greater value? Is there a greater value on financial currency or a bank account balance, or the amount of joy that I possess in my heart? And that's just one thing. You develop a resilience when you come out of minority populations, when you come out of the margins. You develop a determination, you develop a resilience. And that's why when I'm doing education on understanding ACEs, adverse childhood experience, resilience is a part of that conversation. Because coming out of special needs and special interests, you become a resilient person. Jason, more people have failed at doing podcasts than where you're at right now because of your special interests. You are motivated. You're more motivated than the average person who has, normal lifestyle or normal privileges, but we have privileges too in our special interests. And I don't feel bad for myself being a Black man. Yes. Do people still, respond differently sometimes? And is there racism that still exists? Absolutely. But you know what? We can be the exception to that perception. We can be the exception to that perception.
Be the exception to that perception.
Come on, baby. We're going to be the exception to that perception and help to inform and alter what they think they know about what it means to be a minority or a person with special needs.
Please say more about how people find joy in poverty, and how poverty and joy can be linked.
Well, when you don't have the money to place value in, you place value in different currency. You place value in your social currency. You place value in the experiences that you get to have. You're not contingent. Your joy is not contingent any longer on whether or not you have a lot of money or don't have a lot of money. And that's really helpful as an entrepreneur in the beginning, because there's not a lot of money there, right? But you know what is there? Impact. Oh my gosh, I'm so fired up right now just having the ability to be on this another podcast to share my story, to inspire people. I'm being paid right now and there's no money involved, right? Look at the smile on my face that I get to use my story to impact and inspire people. I'm being paid right now and there's no money involved. And that's just something you can develop when you grow up in environments where there's not a lot of money around. And then when the money comes, it's great. And then you're generous. You're willing to not be so beholden to it or let it identify you. And I want to say one more thing. I know we got some time, but I also want to say that with your special needs, you become a peer to other people with that same special need or special unique ability. See, you can reach people with their speech impediment that I never could because of your peer-to-peer relatability. And I can reach people because of my demographics that you never could. And so it's always a gift that our experiences become a bridge to connect with other people.
So nuggets, experiences become a bridge to connect with other people.
Yes.
And when money isn't available as a primary currency, you said something about other currencies become more important.
Yes.
It brings to mind, they say when someone has experiences blindness, that other senses become more astute, more acute. Acute.
Yeah.
Well, more acute. And just what you said brought that to mind.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
What we're really getting into is like the abundance that difference offers. There's just tremendous differences in the world among people, among the life experiences, among the stories. If we can look at it all from a perception of, hey, there's a lot of different currencies being valued here, but how can we see the abundance in it all without detracting from anyone's challenges? I'm not saying we gloss over people's challenges at all, but how can we see the abundance in a wider and wider range of situations?
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Wow. Okay. Okay, it took a lot to, I mean, it felt like we reached an epiphany then. Sometimes when you reach an epiphany, it's like, oh, where do you go? Where do you go next? Where do you go next?
I know, and I'm trying to let you, run the interview. I know we're both pretty good communicators, so I'm ready to run off to the next topic, but I want to make sure I let you guide our discussion.
What topic is on your heart to to talk about next?
Thank you for that, Jason. One thing I would love to do right now is somehow reach the person who's considering becoming an entrepreneur, and or if you're already in it. But I just want to message out there that it's possible to succeed as an entrepreneur, that you actually can do it, that even though you might be riddled with self-doubt and uncertainty and confusion of how do I build a business, there are resources available in the community to help you to accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish. I'm here in South Dakota, so I only can speak to South Dakota, but I've partnered with Startup Sioux Falls here in South Dakota for the last 2.5 years. And the programs, the environment, the community is there. If you have a burning desire in your heart and in your mind of something you want to bring into the marketplace, go for it. Go for it. It's better to try and fail and to know that you gave it a go than to never try at all. And more often than not, what you find out is that you are more capable than you give yourself credit for. I have accomplished more in my life from trying new things than I ever would have accomplished had I not tried them at all. And I just don't want this just to be about me and how far I've come. I want to inspire someone to go for it. And so it's like, whether it's Startup Sioux Falls, the South Dakota Black Chamber of Commerce, or some type of mentor who you can reach out to who is in business for themselves and ask them to teach you. We love that. We love paying it forward and igniting other people into the entrepreneurship journey. And I'm just so fired up in 2024 to help to create more entrepreneurs, because it's a workforce solution for people with big personalities, big dreams, big goals, and big faith. And it's also a workforce solution for people who are traditionally excluded from regular opportunities, like the formerly incarcerated. So I'm just fired up, and I just want people to know that you can go for it, you can do it, and you will discover that you're more capable than you give yourself credit for.
Wonderful. And may I add one thing?
Please.
And this is to beginning entrepreneurs. When you start off entrepreneurship, your first years, you'll find that the reality probably doesn't look like your vision of it, but that doesn't mean that entrepreneurship isn't working. Even though challenges come up, even though surprises come up and your vision changes, it doesn't mean that the process isn't working. It just means that is being an entrepreneur is a dynamic thing that changes a lot more. That changes a lot. What would you add to that?
I would add that I agree that the vision does shift, it does change, and the full vision takes time to accomplish. I think that's the one thing that breeds a lot of frustration in entrepreneurs and in others is the unrealistic timelines that we put on accomplishing goals. It takes time. It's so interesting because I don't know if this is going to land right, because this is a new concept, a fresh concept I recently learned in the last 2 weeks, and it's about failure. And there was a speaker at a conference I was at, and he was talking about failure. And many people, you probably have heard that you learn more in your failures than you do your successes and victories. I heard at TLC services, we say life is not wins and losses, but life is wins and lessons. And I get that. But I'm starting to embody that. You know what? I don't know if this is going to come out right, but after 4 years of being an entrepreneur, this is what failure looks like. I'm failing right now. My full vision is not yet happened. And I have learned so much in this process. I have grown so much in this process, and I am still in pursuit of my full vision. I have not yet accomplished my full vision, but I'm not frustrated. I'm not defeated. I embrace this journey and this process of failing forward and learning through it because it's dynamic. And so I just want to say, like you said, it may not, every at bat might not get over the fence. You might strike out. You will see rejection. Rejection absolutely happens. But rejection is also redirection. Rejection is also protection. Sometimes those no's were meant to be to prevent you from experiencing something that would have caused you no good at all. And you thought it would, but the universe has a way of protecting you through rejection. There's no getting to success without rejection. There's no getting to victory without failure. I didn't win every single hurdle race I raced, but one day I became a national champion.
Inspiring, yes. I'm thinking of this. I think it came to my mind because you had a party on Martin Luther King Day, and it was so cold. I didn't come, but talk about the power of vision and how much it adds to the world. Martin Luther King has been gone for decades, but his vision still is rippling through the world and challenging the world to be better. When we add vision to the world, who knows how far that reaches out?
Absolutely. And legacy, vision and legacy. We talked about asking yourself, what is my purpose? We talked about faith and courage and vision and legacy, right? Dr. King has a legacy that transcends the time that he lived in. He is no longer a part of this realm in the physical, but in the spiritual, he still lives on because of his vision and because of his dream. And I'm so inspired by Dr. King. I have a full-size portrait right here in my home that I look at every day. And I've been inspired by him since I was a boy. The fact that you can be remembered after you're gone has always been something that enamored me. And now I get to, because of entrepreneurship, play in a sandbox so big that I hope that when I do go through that door called death, that people are still talking about my life, legacy, and dream after I'm gone, just like they do Dr. King.
Amen.
I love it.
Wow. I asked you this last time, but I asked all my guests this, and the answers on this change from week to week, month to month, year to year. So what today, Ted Liggins, does doing your imperfect best mean to you?
Doing your imperfect best to me means trying again despite the results of yesterday. Because yesterday wasn't a perfect day. Everything didn't go as planned, but you did your best. And today you get to do it again. You get to do your imperfect best again. In fact, every day you'll be doing your imperfect best. There's not one day that you're going to have a perfect day, because this is not a perfect world and we're not perfect people. And so I really think that the imperfect best is really about being fully human, fully graceful, and trying again today, despite the imperfections of yesterday. Keep giving it your best.
Wow, that's a great definition, my friend. such a pleasure to talk with you again. Thanks so much for your vision, your courage, and all you do to make our community and make the world a kinder, more equitable place. You are a superstar, my friend. You very much are.
Thank you so much, Jason, for having me. And please reach out if you want to connect with programs that we have available. We're going to start a book club on entrepreneurship that we're going to get started here in March. And so find me online. I'd love to connect.
Oh, thanks for the reminder. What's the best way for people to connect with you?
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn, Terry Liggins, or on Facebook at Terry Grateful Liggins. But if you want to reach me by email, it's the Hurdle Life Coach at gmail.com, or through the Black Chamber, I can be reached at programs at sdbcc.org.
Cool. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Oh gosh, it was so fun. I love when conversations get going and both people are fully engaged and kind of ping ponging off each other's ideas and enhancing each other's ideas. We all have so much potential, and at the same time we're human, and sometimes we can lose sight of what's within us, lose sight of our dreams, lose sight of what we want to create in the world. It takes people like Terry Liggins to remind us that we are the best, that we each are totally unique to this world, and each have unique purpose in this world. I so appreciate that Terry reminded us of that today. You are the best. You are the best. Thanks for tuning in. Leave a comment if you want. We love comments. Please tune in next week for another great guest. Talk to you later. Bye.